Good morning, everybody. My name is Susan Carbon, and I have the privilege of serving as the Director of the Office on Violence Against Women at the United States Department of Justice. As many of you know, it is the mission of the Office on Violence Against Women to lead the national effort to respond to domestic violence, sexual assault, dating violence, and stalking. I'm delighted to join Casey Gwynn and the National Family Justice Center Alliance in welcoming you to the 11th Annual International Family Justice Center Conference. On behalf of the Office on Violence Against Women and my colleague Susan Williams, who is there with you, I'd like to recognize and thank Casey and also Gail Strack and the staff of the National Family Justice Center Alliance for their vision, their extraordinary leadership, and their ongoing partnership in the journey to end domestic violence and all other forms of violence against women, both here in the United States and around the world. The Family Justice Center model is a natural progression of the coordinated community response to violence against women, which is at the very foundation of the Violence Against Women Act. At its core, the Family Justice Center model is about providing the most effective, efficient, meaningful, and compassionate services possible to victims of domestic violence and their children, as well as their families. In many communities, Family Justice Centers are now expanding to include services for victims of child abuse, sexual assault, teen dating violence, and indeed, elder abuse. The Family Justice Center model is a victim-centered model, one that transforms the delivery of victim services by bringing together advocates, law enforcement, prosecutors, and other intervention professionals in one location to work together to serve victims and their children and hold offenders accountable. The Family Justice Center model concept is quite simple, but I know that the successful implementation of a Family Justice Center requires a clarity of vision, extensive community buy-in, long-term commitment, a strong history of collaboration, and an openness to ongoing relationship building across disciplines. I applaud all of you here today who are representing an established Family Justice Center for your tireless commitment to improving the lives of victims and survivors. But I also applaud all of you who are here today to learn more about the Family Justice Center model. Not all communities are ready for a co-located service delivery approach, and yet many of the promising practices that have emerged from the co-located approach can be replicated in other collaborations. As a judge, I have seen how collaboration can vastly improve the experience of a survivor in the criminal justice system. And I have seen how agencies can work together to be more effective at meeting the unique needs of individual victims. Whether you work in this field or not, you have only to read a newspaper or turn on the television to realize that sexual and domestic violence pervades every part of society. It touches people of every age, race, class, gender, and sexual orientation. Whether it is used as a weapon of war against an entire people or cynically employed to break one individual's spirit, its impact is profound. It reaches entire communities, from our homes to the workplace, to high school and college campuses, to our military communities and beyond. For survivors of domestic and sexual violence, their needs are often very complex and long-term, from safe and affordable housing, to affordable health care, to affordable education and job skills, to jobs that are well-paying and family-friendly, to sufficient child support, to advocacy and counseling, and access to civil and criminal legal systems. No one agency or organization can possibly address all of the needs of survivors. Family Justice Centers and other co-located multidisciplinary models are providing the structure and the foundation to offer flexible, holistic services that can meet the needs of victims and survivors where they are at. Promoting community collaboration, whether between public and private entities, civilian and military communities, or agencies in a big city or rural jurisdiction, continues to be a priority for the Office on Violence Against Women. We can work together to bring further innovation to prevention, intervention, and treatment, to honor the work of advocates, and to support survivors through their paths of recovery. As we look to the future of victim services, we should continue to build upon our past and our current coordinated response efforts. As we do, we will continue to see that the Family Justice Center model is an effective approach for many communities around the country. I'd like to take a moment and shift my comments to address the issue of sexual violence. April, as you know, is National Sexual Assault Awareness Month. During this month, we take strength and inspiration from the work of advocates around the country who serve as a bridge to recovery and encourage survivors of sexual violence to raise their voices. I would like to invite all of the participants of this conference to join us this month as we issue a call to action for individuals and communities to learn more about sexual violence, to understand its impact on society, and to stand alongside survivors as we together take a stand against the horrors they have experienced. I wish you a productive conference and much success when you return to your communities. We at the department share your vision where men and women and boys and girls can live in a world without fear of physical or sexual violence in our homes, in our relationships, and in our communities. Thank you so much.